Trump, the President of the United States, has repeatedly threatened Iran with a ground operation and the occupation of certain islands in the Persian Gulf. There is no doubt that the President of the United States has become a pawn of the Prime Minister of the Zionist regime in the war of aggression against Iran, driven by pressure from the terrorist organization Mossad, exploiting his background in the Epstein case. The President of the United States, known as the most dishonest president in the world and lacking any intellectual or discursive stability, is utterly untrustworthy. Unfortunately, America's leaders have delegated command of the armed forces to someone whose erratic positions and dangerous, wrong-headed decisions have plunged the U.S. military into a swamp of death. Trump, whose commanders and soldiers are grappling with death daily in the region, due to their fear of being killed, have fled from destroyed bases and taken refuge in the service, population, and economic centers of regional countries, and of course will be targeted there as well. He and his senior commanders of the crumbling American army expect resistance from commanders and soldiers on battlefields thousands of kilometers away. Trump drums up a threatening topic one morning and backs down the same evening. He talks about negotiations one moment and decides to escalate the war a few hours later. This unstable and deceitful individual has inflicted immense damage on the people of America, Europe, and countries around the world, especially those in the Middle East. The President of the United States has proven that the only language he understands is the language of force. In response to Trump's recent threats of a ground operation or the occupation of any part of Iranian territory, which are nothing more than wishful thinking, we declare that the warriors of Islam have long awaited such actions. They will show that aggression and occupation lead only to the humiliating capture, dismemberment, and disappearance of the aggressors. American commanders and soldiers will become good food for the sharks of the Persian Gulf. It would be better if Trump and the leaders and commanders of the U.S. military studied the history of Iran once and learned a lesson from the valiant Iranian people's confrontations with aggressors throughout history, and did not lead their soldiers into captivity and death within the delusional circle of the unstable American president, nor turn the American people into mourners on a wide scale. The powerful Iranian armed forces will eagerly await the moment to obliterate your army if the American president's threat, an embodiment of delusion and lies, is carried out.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Mr. President.
So we've had very good negotiations today with Iran, getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're very good. Moving along very nicely. They've destroyed a lot of additional targets today. The Navy's gone, the Air Force has gone, we know that. But we destroyed many targets today. It was a big day. And we are negotiating with them directly and indirectly. We have emissaries, but we also are dealing directly. And as you know, they've agreed to send 8 boats 2 days ago, and then they added another 2, so it was 10 boats. And now today they gave us as a tribute, I don't know, I can't define it exactly, but they gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big boats of oil, going through the Hormuz Strait. And that's taking place starting tomorrow morning. Over the next couple of days, a lot of boats. And I would only say that we're doing extremely well in that negotiation. You never know with Iran because we negotiate with them and then we always have to blow them up. Whether it's the B-2 bombers or just terminating, as an example, the Iran nuclear deal done by Barack Hussein Obama, probably the worst deal we've ever done as a country, one of the dumbest deals we've ever done. But I terminated it, unfortunately, otherwise right now they'd have a nuclear weapon. Then we did the attack with the B-2 bombers and we stopped them from having nuclear. And now we had to blow them up again. And we will probably, I think we'll make a deal with them, pretty sure. Whether it's possible, we won't. But we've had regime change, if you look already, because the one regime was decimated, destroyed, they're all dead. The next regime is mostly dead. And the third regime, we're dealing with different people than anybody's dealt with before. It's a whole different group of people. group of people that seem to be much more reasonable. It truly is regime change. And regime change is an imperative, but I think we have it automatically.
Do you foresee a deal in Iran this upcoming week?
I do see a deal in Iran, yeah.
Mr. President,
Could be soon.
are you considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them though because of the power. Look, I would say we're just like we're ahead of schedule on the ballroom. In a much bigger way, we're ahead of schedule with Iran. We're weeks ahead of schedule. If you would have said that in 3 days we were going to knock out 158 ships, their entire Navy, which we did, we knocked out their entire Air Force. We knocked out most of their missiles. That's why you see missile attacks, but they're down to they're sputtering. And we have a group, it's really a new regime. It's a group of people that we've never dealt with before, that are acting very reasonable. It is truly regime change.
Is Committee's son still alive, sir? Is he a part of these
We think he may be. Nobody's heard about him. He may be alive, but he's obviously very seriously in trouble. He's seriously wounded.
You had offered that 15-point plan to Iran. Did they ever come back with a
they
response?
came back on the
What did
15-point
they
plan.
say?
They gave us most of the points. Why wouldn't they?
And you make it sound like they made some concessions. Can you identify those?
Well, they're agreeing with us on the plan. I mean, we asked for 15 things, and for the most part, we're going to be asking for a couple of other things. And just to prove that they're serious, they gave us all these votes. When I talked about 4 days ago a present, I said they gave me a present, but I didn't think I was at liberty to say what it was. What it was 8 plus 2. It's 10 massive boatloads of oil. And today they gave us another present. They gave us 20 boatloads of oil. That starts being shipped tomorrow. We're having very good meetings, both directly and indirectly, and I think we're getting a lot of very important points.
Sir,